XDR stands for Extended Detection and Response. Now what that really means is it's a combination of different products. We're all quite familiar probably with endpoint detection and response. That's technology that you install on a computer, on an endpoint, and it detects threats and it does something. That response could be to raise an alert, or it could be to try and stop the threat. And we're quite used to network detection and response, which is a device most likely that sits on the network and watches for bad behavior. What extended detection and response, XDR, what that's supposed to do is to look at all these different products that are working to try and detect what the bad guys are doing and to do something about it, and to bring it all into one place. So you're not monitoring 20 different security products and trying to work out what's happening on your network. The idea is, in the industry phrase is all one pane of glass, is to bring your email detection, your endpoint detection, your network detection, all of these things into one place, and so your security analysts can work out what's actually going on and make decisions on how to fix the problems in one place rather than having to tweak buttons and twist dials all over the place. In some respects, it's very hard to test this approach to security because you've got lots of moving parts, and some tests make lots of assumptions about how products should work. So they automate heavily, they have all these special test systems that if the products don't work in exactly the right way, they can't test properly. The way that we approach the problem is simply to test like hackers. You could call it full attack chain, red team testing if you like, but I think the simplest way to put it is our testing team behaves like the bad guys and they do the full attack from the reconnaissance stage all the way through to achieving the bad goals like destroying or stealing data, for example. So by testing in a realistic way, we can combine any number of products in the way that they're intended to be used and then test that setup. So essentially the security vendors, the people making the software, they deploy their products in our network as if we're a real customer. And then we attack ourselves as if we're real bad guys, and we see how those different products react and if the XDR component of them can bring all of the information together into one place in a useful way that security analysts can respond in the real world to such attacks. XDR is quite an attractive proposition for a lot of enterprises who are always trying to simplify their security setups. Most CISOs that we talk to always say they have dozens of different security products in play and they're trying to make things simpler. So testing XDR is quite important because we have to prove or otherwise that this approach is actually going to be useful and make people's lives easier rather than harder. Now we occupy a very peculiar position in the cybersecurity world in that we're trusted by the people who make the security products and we're trusted by the people who buy them. So we sit in the middle and we have access to the products for a start. It's quite challenging to test XDR if you haven't got access to the products themselves. Fortunately, the vendors want to prove that their products work and they've asked us to do it. Similarly, the companies that buy the XDR products trust our results, so they ask us to do it. And so that's why we've taken on board the need for XDR testing and why we're the first company to produce a special way of doing it, a way that is accurate and useful for everybody. There are a number of benefits to the XDR testing that we do. If you're a security vendor, if you produce the security software and services, you want to know that they work. So we're kind of assuring people who are producing this stuff that it's actually doing what it should. But more often than not, we find problems as well. And we always say our testing should be treated like a kind of quality assurance process rather than a marketing one. So the engineers at these companies, they should care that we're testing XDR and they should engage with us because we can help ensure that they're doing what they think they're doing and help them fix problems when they come up. And if the marketing teams at those companies discover that the product did really well, then they can pop open the champagne and put our reward logos all over the internet, and that's great for them. But we're really focused on making sure these products work properly. And if you're someone who's buying the security software, it's super useful to know if these products do all integrate properly and share the information in a useful way and don't just provide extra hoops to jump through when a breach is detected.